Yes.
Ho. Ho. All right, here we go, live from Six Nations.
It's Wednesday.
It is Thursday night. It's literally Wednesday, figuratively Thursday.
Yes, wherever you are.
The Harv N Jace Show. The Harv N Jace Show. Hey. How's everybody doing?
Pretty ace.
Harv, we're sitting further and further apart.
Yes.
We don't
social
have
distancing because of those high COVID numbers.
That's right.
We practice.
That's right.
Social
And we
distancing.
don't have a rift isn't starting.
Yes. Yes.
We're as strong as ever, man.
That's right.
It's good to see you, brother. See, look at that. We can't even get our textbook fist bump in.
It still happens. It's an extension,
That
but
was
it's
the best
still there.
extension fist bump you'll ever see right there. I was talking earlier, you know, how many indigenous, like, comedy duos do you know of? You know what I mean? Like Abbott Costello, Heech and Chong, all these great duos, you know?
Yeah, like, I can't really think of any, really.
So it's pretty cool.
Maybe like Thomas and Victor.
Yeah, exactly.
Smoke signals.
Yeah, so I was thinking, damn, heck, we could be onto something, man. You know, like the ideas that we're coming up with in the future. Like, we have a great guest today. Next week, we have an amazing guest, Jennifer Podemski. After that, we're going to introduce some characters, some monologues, some comedy, some fun stuff, and bring in some new characters to the show, you know?
Get into a little bit of sketch comedy, maybe,
Yeah, get into some fun comedy things, because we want them, this show is all about trying to unify people with information, right? But have fun too, you know? We don't have to be down and depressed.
Have some laughs.
We want to laugh together.
We want to see some smiles out there.
That's right, and get educated. So everyone who's been watching us, we love you. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for commenting. You know,
yeah, Gunalunkwa people.
Yeah, our subscribers are going up and up. We had 0, Harv. Now we got up to 150. That's a lot of people that are. That's actual people watching us and fans so far. You know, and we're so excited for that. And I know we're going to grow, especially when we get on Spotify and stuff. When
those
more
numbers
people
will get
have
up there.
access to us. Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, the future is bright.
The future is bright, brother.
Yes.
So I'm glad to see you here. I know you were in the hospital this week getting some
tests
done.
I had some.
I know you've been dealing with
some kidney testing done. And it kind of sucked, but you know I got through it. Yeah, like.
But you're getting a lot of powerful words and support on social media that I've seen. You know.
Yeah, and I'm
which is
loving
important, probably, right?
Yeah, it boosts the morale.
That's good, man. It's
so
good
I'm just
to
staying in a positive mindset.
Because you've always been a positive guy to me, man. So it's so nice that you're taking this head on, and that we can try to share what you're learning with other people, because there's other people that are going through it too.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. It's a bit common occurrence actually.
Right. Especially on indigenous.
The doctor I spoke with said he's met a lot of people from Six Nations, and he really wishes he hadn't, because the line of work he's in is like failing kidneys and stuff.
That's too bad. And that's the only way he's meeting us.
That's the only way basically he'd rather meet us in a different way. But.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're doing.
But here I am.
You look great, Harv.
Yeah, and I feel great.
Let's get to the show.
Yes.
What do you say?
Let's get.
Why don't you introduce who we got with us here today? He's standing by right here.
Yes.
He's in the show. I know a lot of people.
We got the one, and we got the only author of The Medicine Game, which is available on Amazon.
Yep, right now.
Great lacrosse player and a cousin.
There you go, cousin.
Delby Powless.
Delby Powless, welcome him. Come on out, brother. Ow! All right, man. Yay, Rattleworthy. How's it going, brother?
Good. How's it going?
It is so nice to have you on the Harv N Jace Show, man. I mean, this is crazy. This book is blowing up, dude.
Yeah. People are liking it so far.
Like sharing it. I see it all over social media. People sharing it.
I'm loving it so far. I'm halfway in. I got it just 2 days ago.
Right.
I'm halfway in, and like, I didn't want to put it down.
And you can't really put it down because you get kind of invested into the characters, right?
Yeah,
especially Tommy, the lead character, right?
Yeah.
But before we get to that, like Delby, like your career, I've been watching. I've been a big fan of yours. We've been friends a long time. We're family. But you've had such an amazing career, dude. Like, it's crazy, crazy, crazy. And I know I worked with you before on a series that we did for called Inspired by Hope, right? You and Derek Miller and Crystal Shawanda. So we got to work with you. Were you playing at that time?
I think I might have been playing for Buffalo.
The Bandits. So, and you won a championship with them, right?
Yeah.
The Buffalo Bandits?
Yes.
From the NLL?
NLL.
Who's your favorite team in the NLL?
Oh, I don't really got a favorite team just because.
You watch all of them.
I watch them all because they got content from down here on almost every team now.
I'm the same way.
Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I do too now.
Georgia.
Yeah.
Toronto.
Halifax.
Yeah.
Yep. Halifax.
Used to be Buffalo when Delb got drafted first overall.
Yep. First overall. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. It was fun.
Like, what does that feel like when you're standing there and you're at a pro draft? But we've never experienced, and our fans would never know what that means.
Actually, I
Right.
never experienced it either.
Okay.
Because my year was the year they were on strike.
Oh,
The
no.
whole draft was done online, so I didn't even.
What
get to
a
see
bummer.
it. I saw it on the ticker. Like,
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Guy just called me.
Right.
The GM called me, or the GM's Kurt Silcott and
Yep.
Darius. They both called me and told me, welcome
That's
to
awesome,
Daniels, we're
man.
gonna take it. Like, okay, cool. And then that was it. And then I saw it on a ticker like about 5 minutes
Wow.
Seeing
that's
your name on the
crazy.
ticker is pretty
yeah,
awesome.
But then,
so.
so I didn't get to do the whole go up on the stage and
Right.
put the jersey on.
Which is-
parents be there, like, yeah. So
Oh,
I kind of
man, I
I kind of
feel
got
kinda
gypped. I
bad.
kind of got
Oh,
gypped on
no.
that situation. But for mine, yeah, the NLL was going into strike.
Right.
And then we weren't even going to have a season. So it
Crazy.
would have been my
And you
first
wouldn't even
year.
been playing.
Yeah, we didn't have what we didn't have. Oh, we didn't have any exhibition games either, which
Right.
was really crazy for me because I'd never played in the league before, right?
Yep.
So all we did was practice. We didn't have an actual.
That's crazy.
We didn't have an actual game, and the practice floor that we played on was tiny. Like it was this. It's a
Not the big arena
yeah,
that
it
you
was
play
a little
in.
small rink in where was it? Smithville or something. Oh,
Yeah.
Grimsby.
Oh,
That's where
right
we
on.
went. That's where we went to practice, and it's just small in there, right? So then my first game, all of a sudden we're playing at the
Oh, no.
what used to be the HSBC Marine
Right.
Midland. I don't know what.
Yeah,
So many
Buffalo
names,
Arena.
yeah.
So, but that's so my first game's there, and it's like it's my first experience of
Wow.
like, actual game time. I didn't even get an exhibition. It was like,
crazy.
I was nervous as all.
And you know, Buffalo's they're like
That's a big
pretty much the
stage for
number. They're like the
lacrosse,
flagship
And there was-
franchise.
yeah, I think there's
Yeah.
about 17,000 in the stands.
And they
right?
come every game, whether they win or lose, right?
Yeah,
oh, I love
was
that.
just nervous as all hell. And that was my first experience. Like, I wish I could have got an exhibition game. So I never even really got to play with a bunch
Right.
of guys yet before that I'm playing with.
That's
So
crazy, man.
It was pretty nuts. So yeah, my first game definitely wasn't my best. I know
Right.
that. But
You probably still got on the score sheet, I would
I
imagine.
think I got a few apples. I didn't score
That's
till the next
good.
game. I think the next game we went to Minnesota. We had it back to back. We went to Minnesota the next night, and I got like 3 and 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I did all
Got
right.
back to normal.
Yeah, my first goal, the first goal I ever scored was actually in Minnesota. I didn't score in Buffalo. the
Crazy.
First night, so
Well, that's
it
awesome.
was actually pretty fun though.
The NLL, like people commonly refer to lacrosse as the fastest game on 2 feet, which is what people know it for. Even people like Wayne Gretzky, who is known as one of the greatest athletes of all time, said that lacrosse was a big part of his development as a child. And Gary Roberts, Joe Newendike, Brendan Shanahan, all these amazing players, right, started with that basis of lacrosse, right?
Adam Oates.
I think it would add
Adam
to their
Oates, yep.
toughness as well, right?
I think that would have helped too a lot from not getting hit too, because a lot of these kids
Oh, yeah, that's a great point.
don't play body contact until Pee Wee, right?
Yeah.
So they're still. Well, I remember my first year Pee Wee. I'd been playing lacrosse for years, right? And all these kids are still skating with their heads down, looking at the puck.
Oh, that's
and all of a
scary.
sudden, boom. Like,
And you could hit. You were that kind of player, right? Tenacious.
My first year Pee Wee, I played AAA in Brantford. And I was a little fat kid, right? So, but I could still skate. So I was like
Big boned.
Yeah, well, I was the heaviest kid on the team. So that's basically all I did is run out there and Boengo kids
Yeah,
that were
yeah.
skating their head down all the time. But
Trying to just do all that
yeah,
noodling,
yeah.
right?
All the parents love me, right? All my team, because they're like, oh, they're just coming to watch us. To see, or not just coming to watch,
Yeah.
but just love to see me pop somebody, right? But I was a little short, chubby kid out there. But and that's the thing is that helps is. Because you're playing in lacrosse, you're playing body contact
Yeah.
from paperweight, right?
Totally.
From like 3 or 4 years old, you're learning how to get hit, learn how to avoid hits and stuff.
And
too.
that's part of the
exactly right.
fun of lacrosse, isn't
Right.
it? That physical.
Yeah.
I mean, you can get hit just going for the ball, right? Nowadays, right?
And people always wonder like why nobody could hit Gretzky. Like maybe that was part of it because he'd been used to getting avoiding hits
Exactly.
since he was a little kid.
That's a great
Same
point.
thing with John Tavares, right?
Yep.
John Tavares,
Yeah.
he's not the best skater, but
Yep.
you don't see him get lined up very often.
Right, and he's not the fastest
Yeah.
either, the fleetest of foot.
Yeah,
You're absolutely
yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's a great point from
Yeah.
lacrosse.
A lot of it, and that's the thing. I think that's something that a lot of hockey dads are noticing too, right?
Right.
Even that's why
Instead of hockey in the summer,
lacrosse
winter.
hockey,
Yeah.
Because you'll see it like even in like all of a sudden when the Rocks got big, all of a sudden there's Oakville's got a minor system.
Which
like
is huge.
like Westumberland,
Right.
All these ones I never heard of. Northumberland, I never heard of these.
And when you're
places.
talking system, they're
Yeah.
training them right from
Yeah.
young, right?
Yeah,
They
like,
want to see them.
Yeah. So, and that's what they're doing is that the dads are realizing, okay, well, not playing hockey. That's what used to happen to a team like Hamilton, right?
Right.
When we were kids, they'd have a real good team in novice and Pee Wee, But then the best athletes would play summer hockey. They'd switch to summer hockey. So
Right.
they'd play summer hockey
that's
year round,
awesome.
and they would lose all their best players by banning midgets. Like so,
crazy.
guys that were really good when we were kids, but we were,
Right.
they wouldn't be playing anymore.
Crazy.
So that's kind of what I think's been going on with places like hockey towns like Oakville and
Yep.
all the ones that are in the Toronto area. They're having more kids play hockey in the winter and then lacrosse in the summer because
That's
it's training
awesome.
and it's funner. It's more fun for the kids, right?
It's a
Oakville.
faster growing
Yeah.
sport, right?
And even like
Right.
I used to like hockey a lot. I loved hockey when I was a kid, but if you were playing it year round, I mean, come on, it gets
Totally
kinda
monotonous.
sick. And then it gets to where like it's just your dad making you go to practice, right?
Right.
It's like, oh man, another.
It's not fun anymore.
Yeah. Well, I even got like that when I played AAA in Brantford because it was like 5-6 nights a week.
Oh,
And it was
man,
just
that's
like, man, we
crazy.
got to practice 3
That's
nights
an
a week, like,
awful
you
lot
know?
of- yeah.
And that's and even then it's even more now. Like and that's not even including the off ice training. Right?
Oh, that's
Like, I
crazy,
hated
right?
that. Like, well,
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't
You got to
even
go do
play hockey.
shooting,
Yeah,
defense, and stuff.
all you do is run. Basically, it's just running. And like I said, I was a fat kid. I hated
Yeah,
running.
yeah.
So I was like, man, all they're doing is running. Like,
But it
come
paid
on.
off. It obviously paid off,
Yeah,
right?
like, well, I just kind of got used to playing as a chubby kid, and then I
Right.
kind of started growing. I got into high school, I grew a little bit, anyways.
Right.
Thinned out a little bit when I started wrestling, actually. So that's kind of more what actually got me in shape. Probably
Yeah.
the only time I've really been in a good shape is probably when I wrestled in high school. But
Awesome.
other than that, like it's just. Especially with the whole burnout stuff, it's nice to play different sports. So I
Yeah.
always tried to play everything different. I played hockey and lacrosse when I was a kid, but like I was always constantly bugging my mom and dad to let me do boxing lessons or anything like
crazy.
that, like
That's
everything.
awesome, man. Good
and then
for you.
they wouldn't.
Stay
That's what I think
diverse.
that's
They
what the
wouldn't let
kids are
me
missing
though, right?
nowadays, right?
Yeah.
They don't even want to get out of the house, much less try
Yeah, different
everything,
stuff,
right?
yeah.
They're kind of like scared to try it because they want to be the best at it. I've
That's
noticed
exactly
right
what-
away.
yeah,
And now our
exactly.
generation, we didn't care if we weren't the best at it.
Yeah.
We'd still play and
Oh,
go
man.
hard, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I remember when I started wrestling because actually who got me wrestling was Weasel, Greg
Right.
Hill, because he was a little guy. Right?
Heck yeah, oh,
Because
yeah.
he was so
We all
tiny.
know
He
Weasel on
was so
6'8".
tiny. The wrestling coach like basically just grabbed him. He's like, "All right, you're gonna play. You're coming out for wrestling." He's like, "What? We need a little guy, 84 pounds." And he wasn't even 84
And he was
pounds. He was
tenacious.
72 pounds.
Wow.
He wasn't even 84 pounds yet. He was still
That's
70.
hilarious.
And then like
We
so-
need an 84 pound.
I know, like we need an 84 pounder. He's like, "Well, I'm only 72. Good enough." I'm like,
A
close
bag
enough.
of potatoes. Isn't it? That is hilarious.
So that he needed someone to stay with him because he didn't want to stay by himself. So I just stayed with him and started wrestling.
Man, that's awesome.
And that was the thing is like I kind of liked the conditioning part of it because it was conditioning but not running.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Where you're
yeah.
actually just working out and doing plyometric stuff.
Yep,
like
definitely.
and like
Stretches.
rolling around, scrapping. Right?
Yep,
You're just
totally.
scrapping. And like a lot of people have said, like people that play hockey and lacrosse, like the hardest practice they get through is a wrestling practice because it's basically just cardio, but it's not
Right.
just running, right?
Right. It gets monotonous.
Yeah. So I actually did pretty good in wrestling, and that was the thing is like you're saying, like when you show up, you're not the best at it.
Yeah.
My first year, I just got my butt kicked for the entire year.
Crazy. Good
'Cause
for
you're
you
just
to stick
learning.
with it,
Yeah.
though, man. That's another thing that
Yeah.
kids don't really do, right?
So,
They
yeah.
lose one match and they get discouraged, right?
Exactly. Like, and even back then, they used to let you play sports for like 6 years, right? So
Yeah.
I'm like 14, wrestling guys were like 19.
I know. I remember those days when I was in PJ. I had to do those 21-year-olds. I'm getting flipped all over. But this is not good for my confidence.
No, exactly. But I think at the end of the year, I beat one kid that was 19. And I was like, all
Yes.
right, maybe I'm getting her now. And
That's a win.
yeah, and then by the next year, I actually went to nationals and got second in Canada. So actually, that
nice.
was so
That's amazing.
It's just working.
Just
right? Just from working, right?
That's
Just working
amazing.
hard. And then Weasel, he was still wrestling too. I remember. Well, we actually won opposite 2 years. My grade 10 and grade 11 year, I got the team title.
Yep.
And Weasel was like the first year he was 72 pounds and he was pretty good, but there were still guys who were older and
Yep.
80 were actually 10 pounds heavier than him still. But then the next year, I remember he wasn't even really going to practice and stuff. And the
Yeah.
coach is like, "All right, we need you for opposite. Like, come out for a
Crazy.
couple of weeks. Just come out." And then he made it to enough practices to go. And like he was like, he barely,
Weasel's always good
And
to
if
go.
you know Weasel, right?
Yep, he's good to
And
go.
if you know him, right?
He did MMA and stuff like that.
we're-
Right.
So we'd be at practice and he goes out for a smoke, stuff like that, right?
At a wrestling,
comes back in and goes to practice. Or comes back in and wins the
but
tournament.
that's
right?
him, right? Then he does good.
Yeah, and then he even we ended up
That's
he ended up
hilarious.
5th in the province. Like he ended up 5th at OFSA.
That's crazy.
Which is crazy because these are all kids that have
Yeah,
been
yeah.
wrestling since they were little kids. Too,
Right.
A lot of them. He wrestled for 2 years.
He's a
and,
natural.
Yeah, was
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
no pressure. Just went, did what he did, right? Had fun.
He was like, yeah, and he ended up 5th in the whole country.
That's
Or 5th in
amazing.
the whole province. And our team ended up winning off. Right, we won offset first time ever. So it was
That's
pretty cool.
amazing.
Ended
That's a
up winning
great story.
couple more. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Like wrestling was a fun time. It was pretty crazy. And now, like if you look at it, like. Man, they didn't have like the MMA stuff around here.
Yep,
then,
no,
right?
totally.
And I'm like thinking, like, man, if there was MMA around here when I was a kid, I might not even have played lacrosse.
Crazy, yeah, because you like the scruffiness of it.
Yeah, and that's what it was. And it was just and that's what you notice now. MMA, a lot of the wrestlers are kind of dominating, right?
Totally.
Like what's the guy, the Nigger Manoff right now, or whatever his name is?
Yep.
Khabib.
Khabib, basically just call him Khabib, right? Like, man, the guy's just a great wrestler, and nobody can't take him down, and then you can't really stand up with him. Even guys like Chuck Liddell.
Wrestling. He was
a striker, right?
What do you talk about?
But he would use his defense, his wrestling defense. You couldn't take him down because he make you
the Gracies.
Well, yeah, that's even.
They're gonna hang on you all night, those guys.
And that's what I was surprised is when Matt Hughes beat Hoist Gracie that time.
Right.
I was kind of wondering if. But Matt Hughes is just a wrestler.
Wrestler, American, national. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So we're talking with Delby Powless, and we're talking about a little bit about your draft.
Game.
Yep, and author of the new book, which hit #1 on Amazon's Native Literature, and #8 on Amazon's coming of age category, right?
Yeah.
That's huge, man.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's rattle-worthy.
Great accomplishment.
No, that's huge. No, that's really huge because I'm in music and I understand what it takes to impact those kind of charts, right? Because there's a lot of competition, and like it's not just one book comes out and then everyone checks it out. There's like literally millions of books that come out. You know what I mean? So to be #1 and #8 on those charts, that's really cool,
big.
man.
Yeah, it was actually sitting there for a while before I even advertised it, right?
Right.
I was kind of nervous about it. I really want to go out there with this. I really want to get this out there, but. I just did it, and it's like,
that's what I loved about it. When I read this, it was a complete shock to me, and I was like, "Oh, Delby!" And I knew you were so great at all these things, and I knew you're giving back to the community now in so many ways.
I'm a youth counselor.
Oh, youth counselor now for what organization?
Ganukwisha.
Oh, Ganukwisha. Yeah, good for you, man. Yeah. But that's still in the community, and. So then to find out that you wrote a book, it's not even like, oh, I'm thinking of writing a book, and you prepare people. It's kind of like you just dropped it, you know? What's up with that?
I've kind of keep things close to the vest like that.
No, that's good.
I've known people like growing up who would always tell me all the stuff they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yeah, and then not do it. Right?
Yep.
And then like. Why are you gonna, why say you're gonna do all this stuff?
Every time they see you,
but not do it. Right?
Yeah.
So I was kind of more the opposite, where I wouldn't tell anybody anything, and I just try and accomplish it rather than be bragging. I'm gonna do it.
Right.
I've never been someone that I don't want to go bragging about that I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna try that. I just go do it.
That's great, man.
And so the thing is with even with lacrosse, I went to. When I never played field lacrosse really before, but they got a bunch of us to play for the Iroquois Nationals, right?
Yeah.
So we went to Adelaide, Australia, and a bunch of us weren't playing at the start because we didn't play field lacrosse, but then they started playing us eventually.
Had to learn.
Yeah, basically had to learn on the fly, right?
Yep.
And in that tournament, I ended up like 4th in the whole tournament in scoring. And the three guys ahead of me were like BJ Prager, Liam Banks, and AJ Shannon. And they all went to Princeton, Syracuse, and Virginia.
Right, so they've been playing that for years.
Yeah, they were at the top schools.
Top schools,
and
too.
I'm like...
Best coaches, training.
So I'm just thinking maybe I can play division at that level too, right?
That's
division
amazing.
Level. So I kind of start trying to looking into getting recruited and stuff. And I ended up going to junior college. So, but, I kind of did it with that whole goal that, all right, I want to play Division I lacrosse, and I want to be an All-American,
awesome,
and I want to play an NCAA tournament, and stuff like that. So, but I obviously, even after going to junior college, I had a couple good years there, but I never, not got these big offers from big-time schools, right? So Rutgers was actually one of the schools that
awesome.
Recruited me, and the only reason they really recruited me is because their coach had quit before.
Yeah.
So they had no one doing recruiting for them. So they were kind of the new coach that came in was like kind of behind the 8 ball.
And just probably inviting everybody.
He's like just trying to find basically trying to find the leftover. And that's what it was. That's
right.
So me and a goalie.
That's amazing.
That nobody really he was going to go D3. He ended up coming to Rutgers, and I went there too. And then we ended up our first year we beat Syracuse.
That's crazy.
And like the year before we got there, they were 2-12. Like they, the worst year they had in history.
Oh my goodness.
And then the next year we ended up going and we ended up making the NCAA tournament. And we beat Syracuse like in the dome.
Crazy.
Which is probably my highlight of my
and there's probably a lot of fans there.
My college lacrosse career. Yeah, because it's in the dome, right?
Holy moly.
Like, that's the thing is like to beat, that's a storied franchise.
Yeah.
Usually go in there and get their butts kicked. But go in there and beat them in sudden death overtime was nuts.
Right.
So then we made the NCAA tournament. We lost in the first round at Georgetown. But then I was named All-American, and
which was amazing.
And then the other All-American was that goalie too, that
Nice.
was like basically one of the leftovers too.
That's amazing.
So our team did really well and
turn that.
Kind of turned it around. And then the next year, come in with a little more expectation. I think we got ranked like. We actually did. We started out like 8-0 and got up to like number 4 in the country and stuff like that. We weren't really as talented as people. We just outworked a lot of teams.
That's awesome.
That was pretty cool. That was kind of a new thing for me because the teams I'm used to being on down here.
Yeah.
It's
stacked, right?
Well, it's always kind of like got a lot of talent but don't work hard enough.
Yeah,
right?
okay. That's a good point too.
It was the exact opposite where we didn't have a lot of talent.
And you worked harder.
Yeah, and we outworked teams.
So you've seen both sides of the coin.
Yeah, and it was actually fun being on one of those kind of teams.
Right.
It was different.
I've always played on the underdog teams too, so
fun.
I know what it takes. A lot of people don't.
Yeah, but anyways,
it feels better to win like that, though, doesn't it?
It does sometimes. Like when you win when you're not supposed to, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes down here in the Reds too much.
Right.
It always happens where you're so good and you're supposed to blow all these teams up, and you play down to their level, right?
That's it.
We do it all the time. Like
Or you're waiting for another guy to do it. You're waiting for him because he's the scorer, like Cody or whatever, right?
We're just notorious for it. Whereas we would like just play down to who we're playing against. We should have beat them by 10. We'd beat them by 1 or 2. Right?
Crazy, man. That's a great point.
But anyways, we play with that team. Anyways, we ended up making the NCAA tournament again, and I was an All-American again. So I had always wanted to.
Those are huge things, man.
Like I wanted to play in NCAA. I wanted to play Division I. I wanted to be an All-American, right? And I wanted to play an NCAA tournament. So I got to accomplish them. I got to accomplish those, and like I knew I wanted to do them, but I didn't tell anybody. I didn't run around saying that. I just did it. Right?
I'm so happy to hear this stuff because it's what, like, people need to hear. Like, you made these opportunities happen for yourself, and that's the same thing in my career. Like, in music, like, they're not people banging down your door to do anything. I actually had to find out what, like you said, I had to get goals. I want to be on these charts. I want to be on the Billboard charts. I want to do this stuff. Then I had to work towards it. And that's the key thing for probably any kind of success, wouldn't you say? You had to work. You think all that success would have came if you would have just been like hoping that it would have come to you, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, that's what a lot of people, that's the kind of one thing, right? When people like...
They just think magically it's going to come, right?
If it's meant to happen, it'll happen. And they just kind of stay on the couch and
but
that's not the way it works.
Like half faith, half work at least, right?
It's good to have faith, but you got to be able to work at it too.
Yeah, totally.
So, and that was another thing, like even with lacrosse, like with the NLL, my first game I ever watched was just like a videotape. I didn't even seen and back then it was a major, major
you were
indoor
there
lacrosse
before
league.
It got real real big, right?
Yeah, and I had never even seen a game. So somebody put a tape in, and the first game I ever saw was the Buffalo Bandits when they first had a team in 1992 against the Philadelphia Wings.
Awesome.
And JT, it was overtime. He stick hooked and he shot a backhand and went through Dallas Elliot's legs, and the Bandits won, right? And they're in the old odd, and the place just went bananas, right? Just watching it. And I was like, I didn't even know they had pro lacrosse like this, right? So even right then, when I was a kid, my eyes are like this big,
right? And
I'm just like, I want to play for the Buffalo. I want to play for the Buffalo Bandits, and I want to win a world championship.
So awesome, and you did.
And again, I didn't tell anybody.
Right? Oh,
nobody knew
crazy!
That. So it just worked out the way that everything worked out. That I ended up in Buffalo and ended up winning.
That's amazing,
right?
because it's almost like an advantage too, because there can be kind of like jealousy, and if people know your plans, they can kind of
try to sabotage you.
Sabotage them, step on your toes, or not even that. Sometimes they can get in your head, by just saying stupid ass stuff, right. That could just kind of derail you for, and whatever. But I just love all that stuff, man. And Harvey, what were your first impressions as you read the book, The Medicine Game?
So far, I'm halfway in, but it seems like I'm familiar with a lot of the characters. 'Cause, I know a lot of the same people.
Yeah, so, we grew up together on the same res, right?
I'm familiar with some of the settings and the.
But this is a fictional story, right?
Yes.
And it's based on the main character, Tommy, right? And it's just a growing. He grows up through this, right? He's a young man from like 6, and then we see him right till he's getting near 20s or 20s, right?
Yeah.
It's a great thing to not just stay in a year of someone's life, but we get to see him grow up a little bit and then
almost.
see the people around him. Like, was that important to you to show out all the aspects of family life, like from like grandparents to right to the kids? You know, like include everybody in the story. I
kind of wanted to just. Well, the way I start writing it is I start thinking of some people that I weren't with us anymore, and
right.
I was kind of at a really low point in my life, and what I actually wrote was a screenplay the first time. That's what it originally was.
Awesome.
And this is like in 2013, 2014, and I remember just one time I just started thinking about Jordy, my buddy Jordy Butler, and I started thinking because people had always. Growing up, he was just hilarious, right?
Totally.
He was funny, but he was that kid who was always in trouble.
Yeah.
Like teachers, the substitute teachers would be crying in the car because they'd have to come face him like in the classroom. So they're like, "Oh man, he's just tormenting them, like sending them home crying." Right? So like that. So we would.
Our fax man over here, our fax man, Troy knows all about it. Yeah.
And that's the first thing. As soon as you bring his name up, people are like, "Oh,
memories,
man,
right?"
And then that's the thing is people kind of didn't know other stuff about him, how caring he was, how funny he was,
that's awesome.
and like how much he really cared about his friends, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of started writing about him, and then I started writing about other people. And I started writing about all the funny stuff we used to do. Mm-hmm. It kind of just got going, and I kind of started making it into a story. So I remember it probably took me like 2 weeks to write like a screenplay. I know I was thinking like book screenplay, like screenplays are easier to write and quicker. So I'll try to write a screenplay. So
like a novel is really flushed out, right? Screenplays, you can just kind of get the basic idea.
It's like 100 pages, whereas a novel's usually like
almost 300, right?
Yeah, it was 300. We condensed it down to make it smaller, but for the print wise. Yeah. But I kind of did it in like 2 weeks, and I was just like, I remember like starting at like 8 at night and like not stopping until like almost noon.
Those emotions and all those feelings just flow, I guess, when you're in that creative space.
So I'd stay up like all night because I'd just be like, I couldn't stop. I'd just like make coffee and like I'd just keep going and going and going. It's like thinking of different stuff, and the screenplay itself, it just kept making. The screenplay itself probably wasn't that good. It was a story. It was done. And it wasn't all as detailed.
And it had the ideas, though, right?
The ideas were there,
the blueprint.
And it was kind of, and it was kind of good because the novel came out more descriptive and with more different stuff. Because throughout the years, even I'd start thinking of something else. So like, okay,
that's awesome.
So when I got the screenplay done, so what I did is I started sending it out to people, right? Sending it out to places like, you interested in this? How does this work?
Like publishers and stuff like that?
I don't really know how it works.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
And then they're kind of all just sent back, like basically thanks, but no thanks. Right? That's all kind of.
We'd probably see that it's the first try,
I kind of
right?
just like, I kind of just like, whatever, and I kind of just left it. But then, I started thinking, like, they didn't, you don't realize you're dealing with a kid from the res here. They lock you out of the party. You go sneak in the basement window. Right?
Exactly. That's true.
I'm gonna find my way in somehow.
Sounds like Weasel, our Pac-Man back here. He knows all these characters.
So then, that's the thing. So I basically, I kind of did more research on it, right, and kind of start looking into self-publishing, how that works.
Nice.
Like you don't need to
basically what I do with music too.
Yeah, you don't go around to people to ask them do you like this? Do you send them stuff and they say yes or no. You don't have to worry about being rejected if you can just put it out to yourself. So basically, I'm just going to do it myself, and then I just start.
It's a new age now. People are doing that. You don't need the big companies to do that stuff for you anymore.
So
right?
I basically just start turning it into a novel. So it took.
So you hit number one on Amazon. You did all the publishing and everything yourself. You did all the work.
Well, I did all the writing, but then even you got to format it and all that stuff. Edits, format, inputting, because that's all computer stuff, right? So I found another guy to do that for me.
That's awesome.
So he just puts it in whenever we need stuff. He just puts it in.
That's helpful.
Inputs it, and then even the design, right? I got Vision Artworks. Pinky did Tracy Anthony. Pinky did the cover.
Yep.
And then the other guy, I just give him the synopsis and all that stuff to put on the back, and he designed the book and everything like that.
Then that's what you do. You just hire people who know what they're doing, right?
Yeah, you need graphic designers.
That's
and all
awesome.
That kind of stuff,
and you did all the legwork.
It came together wonderfully anyway. So far, I'm loving it.
I like the references in there. Carla's Pizza was one that I liked.
Yeah.
Because they were absolutely the best
I
pizza
know, right?
on Six Nations,
At
would they
one
not?
point, yeah.
Like,
I miss it once in a while.
I know, right? I actually
I'm missing it right now.
I actually
Over
sometimes
something right now.
I just love that reference. I love those references from Six Nations. They're so ingrained in here, and then the quotes and the relationships that people have. You really understand relationships, like as a storyteller, because you don't just blurt things out. Like it seems like you develop. All these people, they develop these relationships before they opened up, and that's how people are, right? They don't just in stories that sometimes they just get to it, but you kind of flushed it out. And I really appreciated that.
And that's kind of why it took so long. I mean, like I said, I've been working on it for years.
Yeah. And great description on all the characters.
Yeah, I'd kind of work on it for, find time when I could, because I was like, well, now I got like 4 kids and they're all in sports.
Well, congratulations, man.
Like I was finishing my bachelor's degree online too at the time, so it was kind of like just trying to
and writing a book and family. That's awesome.
So I just kind of find time when I could, and then I was coaching like hockey, lacrosse, wrestling,
and your kids
hockey,
are in
lacrosse,
sports?
wrestling, and baseball. Yeah, so I'm like coaching all this other stuff.
Would you have
too.
time for yourself, or was this yourself?
And
time?
that's what people would ask me, like, when do you sleep? I'm like, I don't sleep. That's maybe sometimes that's a good thing or a bad thing, right? Because. And that's one thing I was an insomniac ever since I was a kid, and that is actually kind of more from the childhood trauma stuff that you see in the book. Like one of the inspirations for the book was that the book Playing with Fire by Theo Fleury. Right?
Awesome, definitely.
Yeah, because it was one of the worst times of my life. I was just kind of sitting on the couch, and I got gabbing with my brother, and he started telling me, Theo Fleury wrote a book, and I had heard of it, and I was like,
it's an autobiography book, right?
Yeah. And then my brother let me borrow his copy, and I read it. Like I couldn't put it down, and it's basically about what he went through as a kid, right?
Totally.
Like,
and then he went on to become one of the best names in the NHL,
and everything
right?
I was reading about it, just like it just hit home. Like everything that I read, like all the stuff he's going through, the way he feels, the whether it's the depression, the insomnia, he mentions in some of his interviews, right? Like after that stuff happened, he didn't sleep for like 23 years.
Crazy, man.
Because he couldn't close his eyes. Like so,
go through that, see it again, experience
so
it again.
So that's kind of like what I went through.
Yeah.
Too. It's like I've been an insomniac since I was a little kid. So it kind of.
But you use it productively. Like a lot of people can go down that path, right? Of
Well, there's plenty of years where all I did was watch TV,
right?
Sit up till 4 a.m. watching TV.
Right.
But I figured, well, if I'm going to be up, I might as well start doing something.
That's
like
awesome.
That's kind of go sit on the computer and start working. But
and that's good. That's what I was wanting to say. Like even Jordan Tutu had a book out about his overcoming. Like his brother shot himself, and he had to overcome all the same addictions and traumas.
Yeah.
But for me, and like your book now too, is like it's so important that these stories are told, right? And that's kind of why we did the Harv N Jace show, was because we wanted Indigenous people telling these stories, right? And so you're telling a story, and like you said, this is going to resonate the way the Theo Fleury book did for you to someone else, and that's the kind of impact of art, man. And that's why I was so shocked when you put this book out. Like you're this big lacrosse guy, and then now you're an author. That's awesome,
that was
man.
the thing, right? I keep stuff so close to myself that there was like a couple of people who knew that I was even doing this. Like I think my mom, my dad, and my girlfriend. And that was about, I think, maybe it. Because, like, even my brother and my sister were like, what? What you got? So I just kind of like,
well, it can be difficult sharing with your family, too, because they'd be like, add this or put this in there, and you can use this,
You don't want too many critics when you're trying to do something.
Yeah. You don't want too many chefs in the kitchen.
Know,
you know
that's
what
right.
I mean?
That's right.
Exactly. So I kind of just, like, and then even, like, it took me so long to write. Like, even now, I'm kind of, like, skimming through the book and I'm like, oh man, I forgot I even wrote that.
That's awesome.
So, like, I can kind of
work so much on it that you forget.
Well, I can kind of even see like the emotions that I was going through as I was writing it, because like you guys have read it, so you can see that it's an emotional book.
Definitely.
Right? So like I was either, for the most part, like laughing or crying as I'm writing it.
I was about to ask you, did you cry in that? Because I did get emotional at the end with those relationships and some of those outcomes. It's like, it takes a lot for me to get emotional because I have to be invested in it. Mm-hmm. So that's what's part about how great your writing is that I was actually invested in these characters. Because I won't cry if I'm not invested, if it's just like on the surface kind of stuff, fluff stuff. But I was actually welling up, man.
And even as I was like skimming through it now, I could tell like, oh man, I must have been having a good day that day where I was
Right.
telling a bunch of jokes and being funny.
Excited.
And then it just looks like all of a sudden I'm all pissed off. I'm like, oh man, it's like I shouldn't have said, like maybe I shouldn't have said
No,
that.
that's
like,
human
oh, man,
emotion
like,
though,
come on.
right?
Yeah,
Up and
it's
down.
real and raw.
And then like, you know, I feel bad after, but like I just got it out there, and I just like,
I'm
and
glad
I've even
you shared
had
it, man.
Yeah, I've even had a couple of guys from like other reserves actually get in touch with me and said that they can relate to it, and they're, you know.
See, we were
they
just
have
talking
their-
about that.
and
That's
they
just
have their own-
important.
They have their own issues, and they're glad that I like at least come out. And
Right,
talk.
because you're a role model, and if people can see this big, strong Delby Powless, NLL star, you know, All-American, and he's putting out this, and this is real. This is a lot of people have
Real big and strong.
Yeah,
It's that Paulus blood. It's that Paulus blood.
but this is
Little
real
bit big,
stuff.
but-
People see the, you know, the #1 draft and the goals and the championships and stuff, but this is the real stuff that people
Yeah.
actually, everyday stuff that they have to go through, especially Indigenous have a little bit different perspective of growing up because of the Indian schools and the residential schools and stuff like that. And you're talking about Jordy being in trouble all the time. We finding out now, 20, 25, 30 years later now, that those teachers are actually instructed by Canada to take the individuality out of us. So
yeah.
anybody that was not sitting there being quiet, sitting up straight, was getting in trouble all the time, right? So I was the same way. So yeah, this is like, and you touched on some stuff that a lot of Indigenous artists, athletes go through, where you like get like racist chants, and you talked a little bit about it in the book. But you know, the wearing the headdresses and wearing the war paint and doing the and stuff like that in the book. That happens a lot for real, right?
Yeah, I think it's more. I think it's more in the States, but I know I've heard.
It's
of
gotta
it.
be
I've
everywhere.
heard of it a lot up north, like with,
Right.
with like the hockey players, the
Okay.
hockey teams, like from the like the Creed, like
that's
out out west. It
it's
seems
so
like
annoying,
it's a
isn't
lot
it?
worse out in like Saskatchewan,
Yeah.
Alberta type
Yeah.
place, right?
And
Sounds
it's
like an
hurtful.
out
and
west
it's
thing.
hateful, right? Filled with hate,
And
right?
it seems like it's because they don't care and they just don't like. They're not worried about any repercussions.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Whereas, you know, somebody comes to Six Nations and does that, everybody's over the point.
You know it. You're not doing that down here, yeah.
You know, so like, you know, well, there's even on the YouTube thing a few years ago, right,
Yeah.
when Tweed was acting up, and then all of a sudden they're up in the stands, right? So, but it, you know, that is one thing, right? Just that.
Did that ever affect you? Did you ever like affect you? Like, damn, like, because I know when it happened to me when I was a kid, they were calling us wagon burners and stuff when we're coming out, like parents, and we were just kids, man.
Right.
I mean, Mikey Porter,
That's
we're just
the
young
worst,
guys,
right? When it's
man.
grown adults,
it's like
yeah.
looking up like that, and they're calling us wagon burners and stuff.
know.
And I actually remember it actually hurt, like it hurt
Yeah.
my heart. You know, when I was playing, I was actually sitting there kind of like.
And you wonder, like, no one
No one's sticking up for me, and no one's
yeah,
stopping these guys, and it's
right.
not like, hey, you shouldn't be saying that. And everyone's
you
kind of
think-
like rooting
yeah.
them on.
No wonder these kids grow up thinking the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
I wonder who's teaching
And
the
not
kids.
feeling that value or
Yeah.
confidence and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of crazy.
But then as soon as you say something back, oh, you're the
now
messed
you're
up
the
idiot.
savage.
Yeah,
You're out of control, right?
Now you're instigating violence.
exactly.
Yeah, so I'm glad that you bring these things up because they're so everyone can relate to them. Like people need to talk about them more because nothing changes if we don't talk about them. And a lot of times we keep all these traumas and all these hurts and things inside, just so we don't feel vulnerable, or maybe we don't want to like let our family know that we're not as strong as they think
right.
and stuff like that. So it's good to talk about these things, man, because everyone goes through them. Because remember we talked about that with mental health.
Yeah.
A lot of times you can feel like it's just you that's going through it, right?
You got to have those, like they say, there's 4 rooms in your mind or whatever. You got to keep them all balanced, right?
Yep.
Your anger, your happiness, your sadness, and all your emotions. You got to
Right.
keep them in check.
Well, that was the thing
That's
too.
what it is,
Like
balance.
even in Theo Fleury's book, at the very last words in his book, right? Or you are not alone.
Awesome.
So it's just like you're not alone, and that's kind of like, and that's what people need to hear that
Yeah.
are going through these kind of things, right? Whether it's depression, suicidal thoughts, you know,
Yeah.
emptiness, you know, all that stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you're not the only one going through it. Like, just talk to somebody, and that's kind of what
That's
the
awesome.
point is to try and talk to somebody, because, you know, in the book it shows that, you know, tough
Right.
conversation that, you know, Tommy eventually has to have.
Right.
So,
And it's not like you have to go and talk to it with people you're uncomfortable with. You can
Yeah.
go to a therapist who's legally obligated to never share what you say.
Yeah.
And they don't even have to speak back. It's just the getting it off your chest part.
Yeah.
You know, I think that would help, you know, and that kind of.
Yeah. Clear
know?
up some mental issues,
yeah,
possibly.
exactly.
I like-
And then it's funny too. You're talking about the racist stuff, or
Yep, yep.
Because the way the one that I don't want to spoil the book.
Yeah. We're trying not to get the spoilers on.
When we were in junior, right? We were in junior lacrosse. We were in '97, and Johnny Gallant played for us. He ended up going on playing for us. He got cut from Mississauga twice. Mississauga was the worst team in the league, and they cut him twice.
Wow.
And he ended up playing for the Arrows. And he went on and he's a captain for Colorado.
I actually played with him in Brantford
playing for Team
minor
Canada
system.
and everything. Right?
Oh, wow, man. Mississauga missed him.
Yeah, and they cut him twice.
Wow.
Because they played everybody played both ends back then, right? And they said, he can't catch good enough.
Yeah.
But he played defense like crazy,
Oh,
right? And that's
my
what we
goodness.
needed. So, anyways, he's on the team. And then '97, we weren't even supposed to be that good of a team. But
With the Arrows?
Yeah, with the Arrows. So we beat Orangeville. We swept them. We swept Orangeville in the semifinals, and they were like the defending champs. We swept them. So we're playing, and then we're playing Whitby in the finals, and we're beating up. We're already up 2-0 on Whitby, up 2 games to nothing, and we're winning game 3.
Other storied franchises, Whitby.
And then all of a sudden, what happened? There's like some kid like moons like 70, like a couple of 60-year-old women on Native women. Some kid like whips these pants down, moons them after they scored, and then like their grandsons, everybody just going to run into. and then all of a sudden it's on the other side of the floor.
That is so
and then
disrespectful.
And then there's guys behind us like screaming, hollering, yelling, and we're kind of watching this way. We didn't even look. Our trainer was Blair Martin at the time. Blair was hearing, listening to those guys. And he had enough, and he just went up in the stands and started fighting.
Oh my god!
And like by himself, like there was like 4 guys on him.
Man.
Blair's like 4. There's like 4 dudes.
Sick of this.
Yeah, I remember because he's like punching his guy, but the nail kind of jumped him.
Oh my goodness!
And he was kind of down like this, and he said all he could see was like a guy's sack, right? And he just drove him in the back.
Oh yes. Well, he
and then everybody just kind of bailed on there, right?
Wow.
And then all of a sudden, like, oh man, I seen Kim Smith, Jimmer.
Yep.
He come running and he hit this guy, and it was from the back, right? And all you see is like blood. His face exploded. He saw so much blood go like that. It looked like a comic book where there's blood's like, like, man, that guy's face is done.
But I hope they learned a lesson, right?
And then the thing is, because when Blair was kind of getting jumped, guys like I think Cal Smith and Tyler Bombery start going up there, and then a couple guys grabbed him, Johnny Gallant, a few other guys, like they grabbed him, so they wouldn't go out there, and they stopped. And then at the time, Kimball was in the penalty box, and he got mouthing off with somebody. Of course, he's in the penalty box. Right?
Of course, he's mouthing off.
But then he's in the penalty box, and then all this stuff goes on, and everything gets calmed down. And next thing you know, the ref comes over. He's like, all right, this is the list. And he's like, and then he just got a list. They boot Kimball out. They boot out Cal Smith. They boot out Tyler Bombery. They boot out Clay Hill. They just like, they probably kicked out like 8 of us.
Yeah.
And they kicked out one of their guys. One of their plugs that like takes the face off and goes off to their like Sean Steinwell, everybody. I don't know. And then even so then we finished the game shorthanded. We were winning at the time. They ended up beating us 15-14 that game.
Oh, my goodness.
And then after the game's over, they come in and tell us that Kimball got a match penalty for mouthing off. I don't know. I still don't know what he said in the penalty book.
Weird.
So he got suspended 2 games in the middle of the series.
And he was like the highest
scorer.
scorer.
Like
he was the leading
racial refereeing going on
Took out the leading scorer.
And then this is what happened because it was the GM. The league commissioner, the Junior A league commissioner was up in the stands, and he said that he saw Tyler Bombery and Cal Smith come off the bench.
Jeez.
He said he saw him, but meanwhile they like barely didn't even get off. So he suspended those 2 for the rest of the series.
Oh, and Cal was a good defender, and Tyler was an amazing defender.
And Tyler was 21 years old.
Oh my goodness!
And then Kimball got 2 games.
Who was the leading scorer in the
league?
league?
Was our leading scorer. So we had to play. So we tried, but like they beat us like 10-9 at home, and then I think they smoked us like 14-8 the next game. So they go up 3-2, and then the funny thing is we had a guy at the time who was who was doing a bid down at Barton.
Okay. That is hilarious.
Crazy Kurt, got a little Crazy Kurt Mentor. He was down at
right?
I'm familiar with him.
Yeah.
He was he'd gotten in trouble there for a little bit, so he was in jail for like a month, so he missed a bit of the playoffs. He gets out of jail. and comes back. Kimball comes back, and we play them for Game 6, so they could beat us out, right?
Yep.
So Kurt's in the lineup. Kimball's in the lineup. Kurt Berry's like 2 goals too, right out the clink. So, and then
There he is. He's probably happy to be out there.
yeah,
He was celebrating freedom.
and then we end up winning. Heck, we won like 21-8.
That
we
is
hammered them.
awesome. That
But then we
extra
went to Game 7, and we got hammered in like Game 7. I think it was like 14-4 or something.
Crazy.
But anyway, yeah, if we'd have just won those 2 games, man,
Right?
like,
That
we
they
just
took
won-
you all the
that they
players
took-
out of
yeah,
there, right?
Yeah. Well, that was 3 based because we were up 1 game.
That is awful.
Lost that one, then 2 games they took Kimball. The worst part, oh man, I remember the worst part was because they kicked Tyler out for the rest of they kicked Cal and Tyler out the rest of the series, and Tyler was 21, so that was
That was his
he
last
had to
year.
finish his junior
On the bench.
watching like in the stands, and he come in. Oh man,
That
I
must have
still
hurt.
get emotional.
Right? Yeah.
Because he come in like between periods, between the second period, and
Yeah.
just start giving us shit,
Holy
like,
crap.
screaming at us, yelling
Yep,
at us,
yep.
right? And then we're all just sitting there like,
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
we were just like, most of us are in tears.
Yeah.
But like that's the thing is just it, and then to finish that off, after the series, I remember who was it? Well, I was talking about Johnny Gallant, right? So
Yep.
Johnny Gallant, he put up with this whole thing too, right? He was on our team, and funny thing too. He's another guy. He come off the floor one time. He come off the floor. He's like, that guy just called me a wahoo.
Oh my God. It's not even named.
Oh, welcome to the club, buddy.
Welcome to the club. Just call me a
He's like, what do I say back? He's like, I don't know. Call him a honky. Then he's like, I don't know.
That is hilarious. What do I say back? Oh man, that's awesome.
And then we're like, but anyway, he's driving back from the game, and he's all upset and emotional, and his dad just kind of looks over at him, like, because they'd played hockey against Six Nations and lacrosse for years,
Yep.
right? And he had always heard like, oh, the refs are racist and the refs are against Six Nations.
Yep.
And you know, he's one of
Didn't
the
get to
parents.
see it.
He's one of the parents. He's like, yeah, right.
Yep.
Yeah, whatever. Begging. But then, then finally he had his son on the team, and they were driving home.
He got to see it himself.
And he just looked over at him, and he's like, I had no idea that it was that bad.
Yeah.
Like he just kind of said it, like just threw his hands up, like, holy man.
Yeah.
I had no idea that it was that bad.
And that's at a pro league. Like they do that in even Tyke and Pee Wee, even house
Yeah,
league.
even
you
to
know?
this day, it seems like it's still like that.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. Like how many times when you see when this fight starts, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Native kid, non-native kid, they kind of. I've seen them where they've grabbed the native kid by both hands, like both arms, like this.
Yeah. The other dude getting punched. Yeah. You got that right.
What are you doing?
I know.
Just
I'm
getting the
seeing
other guy getting the jump on it.
Get the jump on him.
Or even like,
No, it's true.
or even like, I've seen before a non-native kid just feeding Scon kid, couldn't get his helmet off.
Yeah.
As soon as he gets his helmet off, I'm gonna start swinging. Refs, get in there.
Yeah, that's awful.
Wait a minute, what are you doing?
Oh my goodness.
But like not. I'm not saying that it was
Yeah.
racist, but
Big conspiracy.
it looked pretty damn
Yeah.
racist.
Yeah. If it happens over and over again,
Yeah.
it's like if it happens once, it's a mistake. But if it
Yeah.
happens for generations at thousands of games, it's got to be more than a mistake.
Like,
you know?
like it's not like we're making it up.
Yeah,
We've
yeah.
all seen it before, but
Yeah.
who knows?
And it's
That's
usually
just-
like some of the same officials usually.
Yep.
Like even you kind of reference in the book.
Yep. You know what?
Yeah, I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
one.
I know. But I like.
But I will say that was my old man that I did see from the book thing.
Yeah.
That shouldn't surprise you.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Indigenous dad, man.
Yes.
But I like all the stuff you covered in this book. To go back to the book for a bit, like how Tommy kind of grew up. I like the transitioning of him growing up, and then all these little references. That's what people know on
Yeah.
their indigenous experience. We know all these terms and slangs, right? So that's why
Yeah.
it was really easy.
Yeah,
to
everything's really
relate to it.
familiar in there. It's an awesome book.
Yeah, it's exciting. Did we get through everything you want to talk about?
I think we got everything nailed on the head. Like I can't wait to see the movie actually. Cause
Yeah,
I think,
that we were talking
I think
about
this
that.
is going to translate to a great movie.
Started as a screenplay. It's a book now, but it could
Yeah.
go back to a movie. What would you say? That would be
We'll
cool.
see.
Like?
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I don't
Right.
want to get ahead of myself, but
No, I know, man. Netflix is doing great stuff for
Yeah.
indigenous
Yeah.
content and stuff. You know.
Yeah, they just said they're putting up 200 or 20 million
Yep.
towards indigenous content. You
Yeah,
could
they're looking for all
totally
kinds of
get
stuff.
this
So you
put
need a
into
producer
movie.
to produce this, and
Now you put director under your belt.
and then what we were saying, the announcers in this. That,
Oh, yeah.
that
And then
call
me
the
and
game.
Jace could play
it
the
have to be
announcers
Harv
for
N
the
Jace.
game.
We'll call that game beautifully, man. So we want to thank you for joining us, Delby, and talking about this book. I knew we had to have you on. just because it's just a great accomplishment, dude. It really is, and everyone should be really like supportive of this book and go buy it on Amazon and support Delby Powless.
Medicine Game.
The Medicine Game, yep. And for people that don't know what it's called, The Medicine Game. Like, why did you call the book The Medicine Game?
Well, that's the word for lacrosse, right? Basically, what it means. But what we would use it for, right? Like it says right on the back, right?
Yeah.
As far as pleasing the Creator, and it gives you
good health
and stuff. So, and then I kind of just thought that it's like it's the medicine that helps Tommy get through his through his life. So I kind of even thought, like, should I, like, because I've heard of other things that are called The Medicine Game.
Yeah.
Like documentaries and stuff. I don't want to step on anybody's toes, but I was like, I can't think of any other title
like
for
a better
it.
title.
Yeah, I was even thinking of other titles. I was like, I can't think of another title.
It fits.
When you read it, right, it kind of like finishes out. So
yeah,
I know there's even stuff like I was really nervous about putting it out there because I'm putting myself out there, right?
Yep.
And then even some of the stuff that like I could tell that I was really angry when I wrote it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh man, but it's going through those emotions as I was writing it. So it's just kind of. Just want to get it out there, and especially with people who might be suffering from the same kind of stuff, right? Mm-hmm. So just to get it out there to let them know that it's okay to talk to people, and that's what I do right now is being a youth counselor, right? And so it's kind of tough to hear those things, especially when they're from little kids,
right?
But it's things that that you have to deal with and you have to get dealt with, or else it's gonna fester and eat away at you, right? Because I let it sit inside me for way too long, and I know that it came out in the worst possible ways.
Right, it comes out in anger and all kinds of different stuff.
So
you're right.
If you don't get it out, then it's just going to come out in terrible ways. So it's better to just
and you hurt people
to deal
that
with it. Yes,
you don't want to be hurting, right?
You don't want to hurt the people around you. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't just affect you. Mm-hmm. It affects the people around you.
That's a good point.
So and then ultimately the worst part is when you hear of a kid actually committed suicide. So
that's scary, man.
And then when it happens, everybody thinks like, what could have I done? I should have seen
later,
the signs. I should have seen the signs. I should have taught. And then that's the thing is even too with this mental health. And if you're going to talk to somebody, somebody's got to be there willing to listen too, right? So you got to be able to listen to people too.
It's not sitting there saying, "Oh, do this, do that, get up, drink water," and people don't need to hear that.
And
kind
I
of
know,
stuff,
and people still say, "Tough it out," right? They'll still say, "Just tough it out." Like,
holy man, that's the worst thing you could say to somebody at that time, right? Because they're like cliche things that don't have any resolution. Yeah. They don't help at all. They have no, you know what I mean? So
they're just like, "Oh, suck it up, Mars."
suck it up, Buttercup is the worst thing I could ever hear about anything. Yeah. That's the worst, man.
I know, like people got to realize, that there is stuff going on.
Those hurt when someone's hurting.
It's not just, it's not just little kids, right? It's even for older people that still go through this stuff. So, that's the thing is you just want to be able to get people to come out and talk about the tough. It's a tough conversation to have, right?
It really is.
And it's not an easy thing to do, and it's not an easy thing for especially a parent to hear, right?
Yeah.
So. If they ever see those, and that's the thing.
Maybe this will give somebody courage to bring that up and say, listen,
maybe ask those tough questions.
That's right. Have those conversations with your kids and your family. Are very important. And you were saying a lot of people said, "Oh, I'm going to read this with my kid," and, and they're kind of getting the wrong idea.
Exactly.
It's for a mature adult.
I had a guy
audience, right?
A guy got a hold of me on Instagram, and he was from California, and he's like, "Oh, me and my wife were sitting around reading it to our 8-year-old son." I was like, "Oh no!" And then he's like, and then we had to stop. Okay, we good. And then we had to have a little conversation, and then he's like, and then I finished reading it, and he's like, "Oh man, it was like I couldn't put it down." So.
So it is for you. Actually intended it for an adult.
Yeah,
audience,
it's an adult audience. It's mature audiences only, because I know people see the little cross sticks and the feathers, right, and they're like, "Oh, it's gonna see some little Indian kids playing lacrosse." Yeah. And they're like, "No, it's not. It's a real."
That's awesome.
Issues, like it's got real
adult
things,
adult
things, real things, and that was the thing, right? Like you always see the guy who's telling our stories sometimes is not one of us. Like how about somebody from the res talk about the
That's
res,
it.
And
it's
I
so
like
good.
how different people from different reserves can relate to it.
I felt like it was everyone could relate to this.
Yeah.
Because everything they were talking about, we've all been through it, man.
Right.
We've been through those heartbreaks, the overdose, the losing the families, that trauma from the residential schools, the residual, all that.
Everything.
That's why I really kind of connected with it, because I wasn't thinking like, oh, this is crazy and this is ludicrous and oh, this wouldn't happen. It's like, oh heck, this you actually were drawing from
that's real life
stuff on the res, man, and that's awesome. It's hard to capture that in a empathetic way where you're not like bashing it or what I mean, trying to be disrespectful of culture. That's just the way it is right now. You know, this is who we are right now.
We've even had like a few non-native people reach out and say like, I never knew that stuff even happened, like, that it was like that. Or that things happen like
Education.
that. So it's just kind of and it's just kind of like you just want to get it out there and get the like you said, get that education out there, right? Of
nothing but the facts.
That's it.
I've even had guys. One guy got a hold of me and like just said like he just feels like he's going back to his high school days. And stuff.
Oh yeah, okay.
Man, it makes me feel like I was a kid again, growing up on the res, all the little stuff, all the stuff that those guys were doing. So good that can make
you reminisce, then because they're not all bad. There's a lot of great memories out there too. Of growing up on the res,
exactly, right? So and that's the thing. Like I know it's tough issues and it gets emotional, but like I mean, there's you're gonna laugh too, right?
You're gonna laugh. You're gonna cry. Yeah. It's really unifying.
It's a range of emotions.
I love the support in there. I love how you portray Indigenous families, because we really are like they are in the book. You got to read it if you want to know what I mean. It's a great book. I loved it. This might be a spoiler, but I want to talk about 2 awesome quotes from the grandparents, the elders in this book. One is, "If you ain't hungry, you ain't worked hard enough." That's an amazing quote. I've never heard that before. If you ain't hungry, you ain't worked hard enough. I love that. And some people aren't happy until they're mad. And I love that. I've never heard them described that way, but both of those to me, they're so true. You know.
I've heard the latter. Yeah. The first one.
The first that one I just kind of came up. I was just thinking about stuff.
That's
like,
great.
What would the grandma say?
Right. If you ain't hungry, you ain't working hard.
You must not be working. That's the thing. Well, you're not hungry. Well, you must not be working.
That's right. Because if you're working and doing stuff, you're gonna get an appetite. I love that.
The other one came from my grandpa Doug. He used to say that all the time. He used to say that all the time. I don't know. Some people around here they're not happy unless they're mad.
Yeah, it just makes so much sense. I love it, man.
Because that's basically like the whole trying to please everybody. Right?
Yeah.
Like you can't please everybody. Don't worry about that. Some people ain't happy unless they're mad. So.
Awesome. So that was perfect segue to end our conversation with Delby Powless. If you want to check out more, it's on Amazon.
Definitely a must buy for stocking stuffers.
And it's Christmas, stocking stuffers, man. Is there anything you want to promote, or if they can, anything else you'd like to say, or just?
No, I'm good. But maybe I should just even do a promo for that.
Yeah.
For Ganukwa where I work, like
awesome.
We do counseling there for men, women, children. So
fantastic.
It's
if you need somebody,
somebody to talk to, 519-445-4524.
Awesome.
Thank
you, Delby. Appreciate it,
for
man.
coming out.
Yep. Thanks. Man.
Awesome. Well, we're gonna keep moving on. Once you can just we'll cut to it. Thanks, Delb.
Yeah, cool.
Hey. Yee. Awesome. So that's great, man. And we'll just give it 1 second. And you don't have to stick around if you don't want, Delby. You can fold up.
I'll get you to sign my book before you take off.
Oh yeah, let's do that real quick. You can sign mine too, please. Harv, that was awesome, man. We'll just keep rolling. I don't even cut this out. We'll get Delby.
Yeah,
we'll get Delby signing these
some autographs,
so that everyone will know it's true. We didn't sign them ourselves. After he left.
Yeah, we got physical evidence.
This is physical evidence, man. That's cool. The guests we have that coming, man. It's cool to hear these stories right from the horse's mouth, right?
Yeah, and like really urge everybody, if you haven't read the book, get out there and
do it tonight.
Buy a copy.
Do it
get
tonight.
Get on the computer right now.
Download
get on
it.
Amazon.
Yeah. And
buy this book.
Download it, and then when it comes out physical, buy one for your family,
so you can
man.
Give one away and keep one.
The 18 under, wait till they hit 18 first.
Yeah. It's intended for adult audiences.
That's right. Oh man, it's so cool that we get to talk to Delby this week, and we're gonna be in Barrie.
Yes.
Next week.
Roadie.
We got to hit the road, man.
Yeah.
And we were kind of wanted to do it, thinking we could do it Zoom, but for me, like, I love being there with the people. I love seeing them, and because we talk about stuff that you wouldn't normally. Thank you very much. Yes, Delby Powless, everybody. Thanks, man.
Another rattle.
Wow.
Wowzers.
Harv, it's great to be sitting with you, man.
Yes, it's a chilly one out there.
It is chilly, and
Crisp air.
I do construction from time to time. I like to work with my hands.
Yep.
I picked up a lot of skills through COVID.
Carpentry.
Yep, carpentry.
Yep.
It helped that I built my own house, so
Right.
I got to work with some great framers and stuff. So I got to, I was a rough carpenter before. I could do it a bit, but a really good drywaller. But to learn how to do that, I kind of now I can kind of build all kinds of stuff because I learned the foundation of it, I guess.
Right, yeah, once you know the basics, you
Yeah,
can kind of build off of that.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of work, and it's getting cold. My hands were freezing the other day. I had to come home. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, well,
I'm whining a little bit, but there's people out there still roofing and up
There's
on
some
the
people at
skyscrapers.
Landback Lane living.
I know. That's scary.
Yeah, hopefully they got the fires of burning.
Right? They got fires are burning, and hopefully people are dropping off those blankets and tents.
Firewood,
and
yeah.
Firewood. I was thinking, man, there's so many like old RVs and old kind of like things that people let just rot. Like, just why don't you drive them down there and let them live in those little RVs?
Right,
They're just sitting at your house going to
they
waste.
could fab them up.
Totally.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just an idea. We
Yeah.
trying to come up with ideas.
Yeah, just throwing out solutions.
Solutions, man.
That's all.
So now, in MLB news, which is really awesome, the Miami Marlins have hired the league's first woman as GM, not an
History.
assistant
That's
coach.
herstory.
That's herstory, yeah. Her name is Kim Ng. She comes with 30 years of baseball experience working with the Yankees, White Sox, Dodgers, and the MLB Commissioner's Office. She was part of 6 league championships and 3 World Series teams.
That's groundbreaking things for women to come, maybe.
Right.
Baseball is a big, it's probably one of the biggest major sports.
Right. And at a point, there wasn't even black people weren't even allowed to play it, right?
Yeah, now if there's a woman in the GM position,
Yeah.
who knows how long, maybe a woman will get into the coaching position.
Yeah. And they didn't just hand it to her for publicity. She earned it. 30
Right.
years in the business, man.
Yeah, she put her time in. So.
And I guess she applied for GM for a few other organizations. And I guess, to be disappointed not to get those types of jobs. But
Yeah.
she said she was happy to get the opportunity. You know what I mean? Even if she didn't get those jobs. But
Right.
now that she has the job, she's in charge, man.
Yeah,
She
a lot
could
of
trade.
big things happening for women.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Vice presidency elect possible.
Right?
Yeah.
And we get to talk to a powerful, awesome woman next week, Jennifer Podemski.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about that. We just got to talk to Delby Powless, dude.
Yeah,
This
that
guy
was
was
a
a
great
number 1
interview.
NLL draft, won championships with Buffalo Bandits,
Storied lacrosse career.
Arrows,
Storied.
all-time American 2 times in a row.
Wrestler.
Oh, amazing. It was a
Yeah.
great story.
And side note, he's like one of the best Halloween costume dressers.
He's got
that I
great
know.
things, right?
Yeah, like every Halloween, I look forward to see what Delby's dressing
That's
up
awesome. That's really cool. Elon Musk is causing a stir. He went and tested out, went for the coronavirus test. He did it 4 times in one day just to see, what kind of accuracy it was coming with. And I guess 2 were positive and 2 were negative for COVID. Same machine, same nurse, everything. What's up with that?
That's wild. Like, I was always kind of on the fence about COVID. Like, I know it's a real thing, but, I don't know. If Elon Musk is doing these tests and maybe they're just shoddy testing.
And now Trudeau's talking about the Great Reset, and
Yeah.
it's like, dang, what's going on here? There's got to be more to it,
There's definitely a bigger picture.
because we know it's real. Like, it's an outbreak up to over 1,500, which is massive right now in
Right.
Ontario, and half of them are almost half are in Toronto, right? 'Cause
Right.
Come on, man, we got to get over this COVID stuff. But that's kind of cool that Elon would do that, because he's actually trying to be that guy that's
Trying
out
to maybe
there.
debunk some stuff.
I don't know if he's trying to
Perhaps.
debunk it, but maybe just kind of be the guinea pig to show people the
Right.
truth, because a lot of people don't want to do that, right?
I know a lot of people don't
wouldn't
want to
want-
accept if there's going to be another lockdown.
Yeah.
Just people just don't want to accept that. you
Right.
know, like,
And I don't think I would want to go get that thing up my nose 4 times in a day.
no, I got it done once and
Yeah.
it was nasty.
That's got to be uncomfortable, dude.
Very, yeah.
So I don't know what to think about that. They just said that the U.S. Food and Drug Administration said that it was alerting lab staff and healthcare providers that that test that he used, it was called the antigen test.
The antigen.
Yeah, so that's the one he used, and they said that, and now they're alerting people that those things are occurring. So maybe you did something good for the industry, right? To
Possibly, yeah.
that would be rough if I just tested you once and it says positive, but maybe we have to test everyone 4 or 5 times to get a real account. Like if you test them 10 times, maybe if you're positive twice and -8, that means you're negative. I don't know. Isn't that weird?
It's a weird system they got going on.
I don't know. That's kind of crazy.
Just got to stay safe, man.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe how many people are divided even on that, on the presidency. There's people gloating that Trump won and everyone's a fool for believing Biden won. And then there's people gloating that Biden won by a long shot and Trump's just a fool.
And always was.
And then there's people in the middle, and where I kind of find myself is like, I'm leaning towards like the results in the polls, or you got to read the writing on the wall sometimes, right? That's kind of what people are doing. But I don't think that, I don't think people should be fighting until the actual confirmation, certification, or whatever comes through, right?
Well, Trump's still not conceding.
Trump should concede if he lost, though.
He lost, yeah.
Or else it's going to look bad on him. Because if we go through all this stuff and he's bashing this system, and then it turns out that it was right the whole time, man, that is going to look bad on his legacy, man.
Yeah.
If there is any legacy.
Well, his legacy, depending on who you talk to, it's not going to look
Fox
great.
News or CNN or who are you talking
Right.
Or what kind of funders that back him, right? He raised $90 million or something for the presidential run, or $500 million.
$500 million, I
and
believe it was.
Biden raised almost
$1
$1 billion, eh?
Yeah.
These are things he don't tell people, right? He only tells people what he wants them to hear. Like he's a great manipulator, you know. Like
he's a con man.
They call people the great orator, and wouldn't you rather be the great orator than the great manipulator or the great con man? Come on, man. Like, why would you want to be remembered for that?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's his legacy. I
believe.
a
perfect guy that drinks his own Kool-Aid.
Right.
You know.
He just thinks he's ace.
Yep. that's total.
He thinks he's ace.
Oh, so now you think you're ace.
Yeah.
I love when Reds people say that. Look at him now.
Just thinks he's ace.
He thinks he's ace. That's the best. And that's all you got to hear, and you'll stop acting a fool, right? You're like, I don't think I'm ace.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Look at him.
Look at that. Look at him. Cool. And they got the chin, right?
Yeah.
Look at him now.
Yeah. Thinks he's ace. Yeah, that's Donald Trump.
You gotta love it. Oh my God. You know who Donnie Wahlberg from the
New Kids on the Block?
Or New Kids on the Block, yeah.
I believe.
Yep, and actor too.
Yeah.
He did some TV work. He's done some movies, but I guess he left a $2,000 tip on a $35 tab, and somebody posted on Facebook or whatever, Instagram or whatever, it said like Donnie Wahlberg was here.
That's a lucky day for the server.
Yep, that's on a $35 tip.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about that. Like, I don't know. I'd like to know, like, people don't really tip that much. You know what I mean? Like, I think servers try to get at least 20%, you know, to feel good about it. But, like, I
believe the starting wage at tipping is 15% of the bill.
Right.
Roughly.
But some do 10, some do 5.
Some do none.
Some do 25, 50. Some do none.
Right.
And I was thinking, you know, like, we need to encourage tipping more, I think, because as I get older, I'm starting to see the impact of it. You know, like, it doesn't mean much to you. It's just like, it's a toonie, it's a coffee. But if everyone does that toonie,
it adds up.
It adds up for that family, you know, and so I try to encourage like the young people who are working, like teenagers and stuff, but also the older people who are doing it, because you know they're not there for their health. They're there because they need to be there, and they're feeding their families and stuff, right? So let's encourage people to tip, man.
It's always appreciated by the people getting
and don't look
tipped.
at it as bad thing. Look at it as like, regardless of the service or anything, you're helping somebody out. Like let that be your reward, you know. And
most of the time they're working minimum wage jobs.
Yeah, and maybe they're mad and pissed off because their life circumstances has them down there doing that, and they don't want to be there. They want to be doing, you know, living their dreams and stuff, but they're forced to be there because the economic system, whatever the case may be. But we just gotta give them a break and tip people, I think.
Yeah.
You know, so
what's a couple bucks here and there?
Yeah. Even if it's $1.
Yeah, come on. It's a cup of coffee.
It's a cup of coffee. Anyways, just moving on. We're not trying to blast anybody. Do what you do.
No.
Do what you do.
Carry on.
And carry on. A reformed former leader, gang leader, former gang leader Marcel Wilson. He was with some notorious gangs. Has started a company called One by One. And he has a team full of former gang members, Nazis, mob hitmen, even Al Qaeda working for this organization that are out to curb gun violence in Toronto. Did you hear about these guys?
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't, but that's wild.
Right, because it's coming into the news now because of that young man we talked about.
Yeah, the 12-year-old.
He passed away, dude.
Yeah, rest in peace to him.
He was in critical care when we last talked about it.
Dante Andreata.
Yeah, he passed away.
Young man.
Yeah, he was in critical care last time we talked. And so our heartfelt, rest in peace go to the family.
Condolences to his family.
And that's just awful, that murder culture we're talking about, too. I knew there was a reason why I talked about that story. We didn't really talk about gun violence before, but there was just something last week saying, you need to talk about this,
Right. Yeah, like, I can't believe, like, how crazy it is in Toronto with the guns.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if a gun control law, like, take the government banning guns is going to help anything.
And they asked, Trudeau's trying to say, he's trying to blame Doug Ford, right, for not banning because they put together.
Right.
He's like blaming the premiers, right? When it's really a federal thing, don't you think?
Well, they could ban guns, but these people are still going to get them, just like they tried to ban tobacco back in the day. People were still getting their cigarettes.
And there's actually facts, because 80% of the guns in Canada, this is a statistic. Handguns specifically.
Yeah.
Are from the States anyways.
Right.
So if Canada banned them, you'd only be banning those 20%. There'd still be.
Right. The restrictions are pretty heavy in Canada for firearms, like handguns to own them. Like you got to notify the police when and where you're taking it, when you take it out of your home, where you store it in your home.
Right. U.S. golfer, we're talking about this man, Dustin Johnson, last week. He won the Masters, his first one.
Nice.
First green jacket.
He's got a good career ahead of him.
Yeah, and he's number one in the world.
Yeah, he's done good so far, and I can only see him getting better.
He had a Masters scoring record, too, shooting 20 under par, dude.
Wow. That's some...
and the Masters been around a long time, so to get a record on your first jacket, Wayne Gretzky's son-in-law, we talked about him on last week's show. So that's cool to him. And then another Canadian, Corey Connors, was in the Masters there, set a new lowest round record of 65.
That's amazing shot.
And he finished top 12, so he secured a spot in next year's Masters. So Canadian Corey Connors, congrats and good on him, right?
To him, yeah.
The Buffalo Bills, did you see this? They were on their way to their 8th victory on Sunday, and it was literally snatched out of their hands by the one and only DeAndre Hopkins of the Arizona Cardinals.
It's the last second.
1 second left in the game. Absolute Hail Mary.
Yeah. With 3 guys covering him.
3 guys on him. 3 of the best defensive players on Buffalo. The coach basically said he could throw it to anybody. He's not throwing it to DeAndre. He triple teamed him, and he still caught it in that coverage.
Yeah. That's some talent right there.
That's some great talent.
Talent or else some just butt luck on
the quarterback, Kyle Murray, right? Just a Hail Mary, 45-yard pass. Man, that's almost half the field. Boom. And they come up with it. Stunning win. So Buffalo fell to 7-3.
7-3 is not
still good.
Still very respectable.
They're still number 1 in AFC East. So, but you can't blame anybody on that. That's just a great catch.
Right.
They said it's the first time it's happened in like 60 years.
I believe it. Yeah,
it's like a miracle,
Dying second game-winning catch.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like stuff movies are made of.
This is really cool. Chance the Rapper has curated a music playlist of Michael Jackson songs to entertain aliens in the event of an alien invasion. And he's got 22 Michael Jackson songs, including Man in the Mirror. But he said he wants to help the aliens understand music and humanity. If we ever get attacked, that he wants that to be the playlist that they hear.
If Billie Jean's not on that playlist, you might as well throw it away.
Annie, are you okay?
Yeah. But Michael Jackson well, I guess he had a few knocks against him as well, but he was a humanitarian.
Very controversial person as well.
Yeah, but for the most part, he seemed like he is a humanitarian. And
his songs,
gentle soul,
they don't care about us, and he was always kind of bringing to light all these world issues,
Right. He used his platform to his advantage.
But I just think that's crazy that the new age rapper like Chance, right? He's a real popular guy. He's getting ready for an alien invasion, and he wants to say, "Listen to MJ," because he thinks it's this showing him the best music, the best humanity. You know what I mean? So put your best foot forward, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Michael Jackson is not threatening. That's for sure.
That's right. For sure. You got that right. So. Yep. He's a very generalized, welcoming person. And what's cool about that is his daughter Paris has just released her debut solo album. She's had a band before called the Soundflowers.
Have you heard any of the music?
Yes, I listened to the entire album.
How is it?
It is amazing.
Really?
Yes.
What genre?
As a producer, it's a pop. It's like a eclectic pop.
Following in her father's footsteps, then.
Yeah, she was a little bit folky with the Soundflowers, a little bit folky and singer-songwriting.
Yeah.
But it kind of elevated. It's almost like the producer that she worked with. She must have been working with some pretty big, if you're Michael Jackson's daughter, you could probably
everybody
have access.
wants
You probably have access to some good producers, but like they took these singer-songwriter style songs that she did, and they turned them into this like cinematic, beautiful soundscapes. It's a great album.
Awesome. I'll have to give it a
Yeah,
check.
it's called Wilted. So if you want to check it out, it's a really good album. I think my favorite song on the album is Undone. If you listen to Undone, it is so cinematic. It's big. I think it could be a big radio pop song, but to me, it tells me.
Classified under alternative.
Oh, it's alternative rock or alternative music then. But it does have. You can hear the elements of the MJ.
Right.
You really can, like the. And like the dramatics of things, like the you can really hear
Nice.
It's really cool, dude.
I'm going to definitely have to give that a listen.
Especially if you're a Michael Jackson fan, that's probably the closest you can get to him now, right? Through his kids, right?
Wilted.
Yep, Wilted by Paris Jackson. Check it out because
definitely.
She, like a prodigy, right, of Michael Jackson. So she's got an ear. She's gonna understand good music.
She grew up in the environment, so.
Hilarious things going on Amazon. Tiffany Haddish, who's hilarious.
Yes.
Sarah Silverman and more are going to do a year-end special called Yearly Departed. It will be a series on Amazon of eulogies for the year of 2020 where a lineup of all women comedians will recap the year. That's probably going to be pretty darn good.
It should be good, yeah, because Silverman and Tiffany Haddish, they're both.
And they're wild.
Some funny ladies.
Yeah, they're wild, and they pretty much say whatever is on their mind, right?
Right.
Not like us, we try to be family-oriented. They don't really care, right?
Right. This is PG-13.
That's right.
On the show.
And so that's really cool, so make sure you check that out. Dan Levy, we talked about him.
Eugene's son.
Yep, Eugene's son.
Yep.
He's doing some great things right now.
Schitt's Creek star.
Yep, who's won all those Emmys. And he was just named by People magazine the sexiest man alive in lockdown, I believe.
Oh, wow.
But he's not the sexiest man. That was Michael B. Jordan was named the sexiest man alive this year. But he's a special sexiest man alive of the lockdown. It said it was really
Lockdown
cool.
edition.
Yeah, but also he just finished a 13-week course that he was encouraging everyone to take with him at the Alberta Native Studies in Alberta, the Alberta University. But anyways, he finished that course now, and now he's asking people to donate to that course, and he's matching donations up to $25,000 to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I guess that's
awesome.
the only university in Canada that has that kind of course, right?
That's strange because there's so many Indigenous people in
Yeah,
Canada.
totally.
So
Right
why,
here too, McMaster and Mohawk and stuff,
why
right?
would they have it out there? And it seems like it's so racist out west.
You're right.
So
We need that everywhere, man.
yeah, everybody needs to be educated.
love that he's
so
at the
it's
top.
good that he's educating himself and also using his platform.
Right, he's not just saying go help and not
Yeah.
doing it himself, right? Because that's a little bit hypocritical too, right? You
Right.
know, telling people to do it and you're not doing it yourself. But good on Dan Levy, and I just think that's really, really cool. A woman lost her lawsuit suing Brad Pitt. This is really weird. She was conned by a scammer claiming to be the star, Brad Pitt, and said he wanted her to organize some benefits and he would attend each one. And when the events came, he never showed up, but he got a big fee up
Like
front.
a showing fee.
I got it
Appearance
up front.
fee, yeah.
Yeah, appearance fee. The lady felt because Brad Pitt should have done more to protect these fans that she was trying to tell the judge and people that like he should be responsible for that money or
Right.
whatever. And she said she built a great bond with the scammer, and there was even talk of marriage.
Good Lord. The internet is a wild place, people.
Right? Come on, man.
Yeah,
You
don't
can't do
believe
it.
everything you read or
You
see.
can't. You can't get a lot.
Except this show.
Do you think if you would have got scammed by a fake Brad Pitt and you were talking about marriage, would you even bother going to and getting that out in the public? Because you're going to sue somebody that's going to get out there, right? Wouldn't you want to cover that up?
Right, yeah. Like, how old is this woman?
I don't know.
What is her mental capacity?
She was actually believing that they were gonna get married. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Man.
I'm sorry to say, but she brought all that on herself, man.
Yeah.
You know how many scammers there are? People get scammed every day. Like, there's people calling you to get your money and
Right.
password and codes. Don't give nobody that stuff,
A Nigerian prince wants
Yeah.
to use your bank account to put his
$17
millions in there.
and I'll give you $100 million
Yeah.
for your troubles, right? Come on, man. Anyways, Lana Del Rey, another great artist, donated $350,000 to the Navajo Nation to help provide clean water. She has a poetry book coming out and donated the book advance from the publisher because she just felt like she wanted to help get some
Excellent.
clean water to the Navajo Nation. Isn't that cool?
That is excellent. They're getting hit hard by
Yeah.
the COVID, so they could really use the clean water as well as the financial assistance. I'm
Right,
sure.
and that's cool. Like all these people helping these indigenous causes is spurning others to do something, and I've never seen
Yeah.
it before, man. I really haven't in my whole
No.
life. All these big stars stepping up, like Jane Fonda when she was at
Standing Rock.
Standing Rock, and
Dave Matthews showed up there.
and now Leo DiCaprio, right?
Yeah.
He was a big promoter of helping.
Right. Mark Ruffalo.
Mark Ruffalo, yeah, I saw. It's amazing to see all these great people starting to recognize how important the indigenous people are to the whole,
Right.
melting
Reynolds
pot
is-
of the North America, right? Ryan Reynolds, of course,
Yeah.
donated the jackets to that whole res, right? And they're stars. They have hundreds of millions of followers. Might become interested in
Yeah.
knowing about indigenous
Right.
people and
Educating
issues.
themselves.
Yeah, so I just love that what's going on right now. But we live in a crazy world of material stuff. And PS5 is out, and people are going crazy, man.
Oh man.
It's sold out. You know what they do, right? They only limit it number.
Yeah.
You know they're not sold out. They got millions sitting
Oh,
somewhere
they're sitting in a warehouse just
till after Christmas.
Yep.
Boxing Day.
or Black Friday.
Boxing Day and Black Friday.
Right.
And they're gonna want people stepping on each other's necks for them, man.
Right.
You know people get hurt at those things, right?
Oh yeah.
Those
every
Black
every
Friday
time
things,
there's any kind
and
of
they die sometimes.
Black Friday sale like that, or any new game console.
Would you ever want to be that first one on that glass door when the window's open or just back? You know what I mean?
Like you camped out all night only to get trampled.
And they can't. And when you're getting stepped on and it's a mass trample like that, people can't stop and pick you up because the momentum and the people are
Right.
just pushing you.
Right.
So they're like, sorry, but they're actually trampling you to death,
Right.
right? Oh my God. Over a TV.
Over, yeah.
Or
TV
shoes.
Or a cheap DVD player.
The cheapest DVD player, yeah.
A Blu-ray player on sale.
That you're only going to put in the garage and forget about it. It's going to be all
Right.
dusty, and then you're going to get it at a yard sale, and no one's going to want it.
Right. It'll be outdated.
Oh, man.
Black Friday.
But now they're like a $500 machine, right? And people are like selling them for, big money online now, like they did with all the toys.
Yeah.
And all the
I know they got like two versions. One's like a disc version.
Right.
And one's like a downloadable where you
Yeah,
download
you
the
can't
games.
put. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But people are getting scammed big time, like saying we're going to sell them to you, and they show up and they just
Yep.
take your shit.
Scammers, man. Got to watch yourself and protect your assets and watch your ass.
That's
I
what we're
guess.
talking about. This show seems to be about scammers, baby.
Yeah, this
gotta
show
be-
is dedicated to scammers.
Scammers.
The last one was Wayne Gretzky.
And this one's dedicated to scammers. We were trying to tell people.
Earlier it was Delb.
Yeah. Don't be naive, folks.
Right.
Put everything through all these ringers and talk to all your most trusted people and say, hey, does this sound right to you?
Right. If it's too good to be true, it probably is.
That's right. That's what I was trying to say. Thank you, Harv.
Indubitably.
Indubitably. That was a tongue twister for some reason.
Yes.
I'm supposed to be a professional over here. You're talking to a professional over here. The guy who punched Rick Moranis
Beautiful
got
news.
arrested. Yes.
Breaking news on the Harv N Jace
People,
show.
We wanted justice for him, did we
Yes,
not?
we did.
And that is so
How
good.
dare that guy?
Yeah. And I need to know his name and his face, and we're going to say,
Yeah, we're
how
going to
dare you?
shame him.
How dare you hit a national treasure?
Yes. Rick
Come on, man.
Moranis.
He was like, he raised a lot of people, you know what
Canada's
I mean?
own.
Yeah. He kind of like, a lot of people act like Rick Moranis because he was their dad.
Yeah.
I grew up watching those movies, right? Oh,
Yeah.
so that's cool.
Good on him.
Yeah.
He deserves everything he gets in jail.
Yeah. This is really neat. Or depending on what you think, George Clooney, great Hollywood actor, has decided he doesn't want to wait until he passes to execute his will. So the recipients in his will, he's giving them their money now. He just gave one of his best friends $1 million, which he was giving him in his will anyways.
That's a beautiful gesture.
And he just said, like, why am I waiting till I die? Like, just do it now so they can live now. You know,
and he can maybe enjoy life with them.
Yeah.
Well, there you have
for the next 30 years instead of in 30 years. You know, like, man, that's a really cool idea.
Yeah. I wished I would have been.
That's original.
Closer with George Clooney. I guess.
Right? Oh man, that's amazing. So yeah, we had so much to talk about today, and I'm so happy that we got through it all. I'm so happy that we got to talk to Delby and spend some time together as always, my friend. And just make sure that you guys subscribe and like and comment, please.
Darren Ross Agency YouTube channel.
That's right. The Medicine Game. Get your copy. We got ours signed, and you've seen Delby sign them too. We're not cutting that out either because I want people to know that this is real.
Yeah. Physical proof, people.
Yeah.
Physical proof.
And I love the new placement of your bead your bead work there.
Yes, on the Jukasa Designs.
Cambombery.
Masterpiece up there.
Yep, put it around our caricatures there.
Excellent.
So make sure you go to Cap and Chucky's, get yourself a sub and some soup there. They're
Cap
doing really well
Chucky's.
down there.
It's a great lunch spot. Open 9 till 9, I believe, on 6th line, corner of Chiefswood Road and 6th
right by
line.
Chiefswood Gas there, that new plaza. So make sure you get there. They have great soups, specials every day, all kinds of stuff. Support that local stuff, dude.
Yeah, I want to give a quick birthday shout out to my granddaughter Keisha. Happy birthday, Kiki. Granddad loves you.
Awesome. And for everybody that's watching, we just thank you. And we'll see you next week with Jennifer Podensky. We'll be in Barrie next week.
Yeah, roadie.
We're going on the road again.
All right.
All right. Have a good week, guys.